Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria about 3 months ago raised the capital requirement of banks in the country, giving them a 2-year period to meet the new capital base or explore other options such as mergers and acquisitions or downgrade of banking license. Now, according to the new requirement, commercial banks with international licenses are required to have a capital base of 500 billion naira. National counterparts are meant to have about 200 billion naira, and regional banks are required to have 50 billion naira. Now, since then, a number of banks have raised the curtain by right issues and other means for the primary markets. Nigeria's Securities and Exchange Commission, the capital market regulator, has also issued guidelines to help facilitate raising capital. My guest on this is National Chairman of the Progressive Shareholders Association of Nigeria, Boniface Okezie. Mr. Okezie, it's great to have you and see you away from the AGMs for a change. It's great to have you in studio with us today.
My pleasure to be here.
Great, great. Well, let's dive right into it. So it's been 20 years since the last banking recapitalization. What do you think about this drive?
Yeah, because I think, the CBN have given the order. They are the one regulating the industry. They know where the shortcoming is coming from. And even before the CBN made a pronouncement, a bank like Fidelity have gone ahead of them to raise capital to beef up the operations. Because if you're having, example, 200 branches, and it's not adequate enough to meet the state in the federation, and the CBN are giving you approval to open more license. So you need more money. Because to run business in Nigeria is not an easy one. So you need more money to be able to execute those branches, and upgrade their ID technologies, to do other things that are necessary. Even if you want to expand beyond outside Nigeria, you need more money, capital. Okay? For example, when they did the acquisition of Union Bank in UK, okay, Fidelity I'm talking now, for example, so they raise money, private placement, because you can't use their capital, shareholder fund, to do that. You need to raise money, which they did, approved by SEC and by shareholder, given the extraordinary meeting for them to raise that money to buy that brand, and which is now doing very well, adding to the bottom line of the bank. So these opportunities in 2008, when the bank during the Soludo era, so that is when Nigeria start going abroad. African countries to open branches. Without that recapitalization, there's no way Nigerian banks could have branched out to open, even today, having branch in UK, USA, China, etc., or France. It is the capital raise at that time, that we're able to move out from operating from outside Nigerian shore. So without capital, you can't do anything enough. So you need to beef up your capital from time to time to do. That's why most of the bank have gotten the resolution from their shareholder to go to the market to beef up their capital base, to be able to embark upon more businesses, opportunities that are bound to them, before the CBN made a pronouncement.
So your overall sentiment around the entire recapitalization process would be?
Of course, because CBN is okay. If you want to operate international, 500 billion, national, within the country, 200 billion. Yeah. Regional, like example, you want to remain in the West. That's where you cover. You don't go to other side of Nigeria or the north or the eastern part of the country, 50 billion, okay? Some banks like Fidelity, for example, is already international. So they want to have that 500 billion to do their business. A bank like Access Bank, what they call it, Zenith Bank. So these are the international bank.
Yeah, but we also have quite a number of other tier banks, which we will get into a bit
so those
further
ones
in this conversation.
Must meet all that 500 billion to be able to operate in that tier one, that kind of thing. So they want to go to the market to meet all that requirement. It's not the lacking capital. The banks are lacking capital. No. They want to beef up, like I said earlier, they want to have more money to be able to execute laudable project they have, without, recourse to whatever they have at moment, within their vote. So these are informed decisions where they want to raise more money before the CBN made their pronouncement.
Right, liquidity is always important. We cannot even go back and forth on that one. That is really, really very clear. Yeah. But given this new development, what lessons would you say shareholders should be on the lookout for?
What the shareholders who want to consolidate, in view of that most banks have a rewarding shareholders in terms of payout dividend, a handsome one for that matter, capital appreciation. See, a lot of people, that's why Nigerians, no matter what it takes, they have love in banking stocks, okay? Because they are rewarding, okay? You can make more money in banking stock. despite what the troubling we had in after the consolidations, before Sanusi came on board, and went the hand of claw backward, so people have not recovered from it up till now. That shock is still there, okay? But now, you can't do away without banking in any society, in any climate. The banks hold the key for the economy. Without banking, you can't talk about the economy. And that's what CBN are regulating. CBN is just a regulator within the industry, who regulate, who call the shot. A bank reserve for the government. Okay, before government say, okay, we want to do business with the private equity banks, to put our money there. And that one, when Buhari came, I think, they call up TSA, okay, Central Treasurer, having all the bank go to CBN and lot all the money for government. The government have seen that it's not helpful to put their money in CBN vote alone. CBN is not a commercial bank. It's the bank reserve for the nations and advise government on the monetary aspect, how to run the economy. So it's not a commercial bank. So government can put their money in the commercial bank and earn interest to use to other things, develop other sectors, So bank have a better role to play in the economy at large. Lend to the risk sectors. If they don't have adequate enough capital, okay, the buffer, they can be able to lend to the risk sectors, to manufacturers.
Right.
So, and that's why, when the forest volatility started, a lot of companies have been declaring loan, like manufacturers who depend borrowing abroad. Because Nigerian banks today, as we speak, doesn't have that muscle to lend out such loan. Okay? Even if you lend out, it become bad.
Right.
And paying that loan become problem. For the manufacturer on the high interest rate, they can able to borrow to run their business. In abroad, they can get 3%, they can get 5%, but here we're talking about 20% loan. How would the risk sector borrow from Nigerian bank to do business without passing the ball to the consumers?
Certainly, there's a stark difference there.
Exactly.
Yeah, Mr. Okezie, I just want us to pivot a little bit and talk about the relationship between the banking system and the regulator. So, of course, we know that the Securities and Exchange Commission has got the responsibility to ensure a smooth, transparent, efficient process when it comes to this capital raising process by the banks. But would you consider this 1 million naira penalty? Would you say it's draconian or is it fair?
Let me say so in a last regulator have all it takes to warn them in advance that this is the fallout. If you violate the rules guiding the raising of capital, as everybody will rush to the market, you will penalize. And that also for the issuance who are bringing this bank into the market. The bank have contracted them like issue houses as a financial advisors, professionals. So they know what it takes to advise their client. This is the way to do. You have to put their document intact, okay, as required by SEC. Because SEC, when you raise the money, CBN, after CBN, you go to SEC for, verification, whatever, before finally go to CBN. I think what should concern SEC as a regulator is encouraging these institutions to raise that money. It's not easy because Nigerians today don't have that money even to buy the shares as we speak, okay? But because the banks are doing well, because they are rewarding investors, will help the other market than this very market, So SEC should not be using that language to threaten, to frighten. Because there's this issue houses. It's a terrain they're familiar with. It's not new to them to, put your document intact and not flouting the law or violating the laws, So I think SEC want to be hard. For me, that's the way I looked at it.
So you find it not
yes,
fair.
They want to be hard, Mm-hmm. So what SEC should be doing is get themselves prepared so that when the bank, raise this money and submitted document to them, it will not stay that kingdom come. It will not stay 6 months, 3 months before getting the final approval. Okay? So that the allotment could be done to the shareholder who invested, those people, So what SEC should be doing, preparing themselves, keep themselves intact, they're able to look at those documents, not delaying the banks. Because they want to make use of this money. It's not when they, people have paid their money for 4 months, 5 months, they're not getting their share allotted to them, credited to their account,
Yeah, we don't
so
want it to be a counterproductive process.
Exactly, So this is why SEC should be concerned themselves. It is not, we'll pay you this, we'll finalize you this, that. Everyone want to make money from it,
Yeah.
But bank will now struggle to raise this money. So-called regulator, including CBN, we also want to make money. Anchor want to make money. This is a problem, you know. So
right. Quite a myriad of problems there, Mr. Okezie, but we're running out of time, and I don't want you to leave without giving me your outlook on the capital markets. Yeah. Very briefly, we have a few seconds to go. So what's your outlook on the capital markets for the future?
Yeah, my outlook, if the economy does well, the market will do well. But when the economy is wobbling, as we see today, that's what affected the whole sector, including the capital market is not exempted. So everybody is passing the tribulation in the economy as we're having at hand, So with this raise of capital today, I think the government will be able to partner with the banks, not over-regulating them, not to doing things that frightening them, okay? They should be encouraged, including the CBN. They should encourage them. Because when the bank have this money in their kitty, it will help the government solve the problem. Government can like borrowing from it within instead of outside, instead of World Bank. They can borrow from the bank to run the economy here. Because what we're having this surplus of debt today hanging on the federal government is because we resort abroad to borrow. Everybody's stealing and taking abroad, banks abroad. Put the money in the Nigerian bank here. Everybody will have, the manufacturer will borrow and do their business.
Certainly.
So the bank will employ, create opportunities, Yeah. I believe the capital market is going to get there by the time the economy turn around. So a bank like Fidelity is doing very well. In SMC, today they are doing very well.
All right, Mr. Okezie, I want to thank you so much for being on the show. We have run out of time, Mr. Okezie. Very positive outlook. And of course, you are a passionate speaker as always. I want to thank you so much for joining us on Global Business Report.